crochet friends, it's me, Jonah, and my sister Mercy, and I just finished this Bernat Easy Bunny Scarf. Isn't it perfect for this time of the year? You can see it has a face made out of buttons, a nose, and these beautiful internally white ears. And on the opposite end, we have a really nice round full tail. And this is a pattern that's great for kids, and adults can help, but it uses a special yarn where no hooks or needles are involved. So it's a great project to get kids crafting. And the yarn used is Bernat Easy Loop Yarn. It is loop yarn, so there's no hooks or needles needed. All you need is your fingers. And this is the color White Mint, and it has this beautiful variegated look to it, and you can see how beautiful the colors look out on my sister Mercy. Then you also need another color for the inside of the bunny's ears, the nose, and the tail. I chose white. Ready to begin to make your easy bunny scarf?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so your first step is to get your yarn and then pull out the strand. And right now we're beginning at the top. We're beginning at the bottom of the tail, one end all the way down to the other, and you need to count 9 loops in your main color. And make sure you have them all straight. There. And notice that your yarn end is on the right. That's exactly what you want. And then take your 10th loop and push it up through the back of this 9th one. That would be a purl stitch. What you need to do, just pull out a little yarn, is you take your 9th stitch and you put it through the back.
Oh, okay. Then I keep doing that?
Then you go take the next loop on your working yarn and push that up through the back of the next stitch.
So like this?
You push this one up through the back of this, through the back. Show you again. So you take this one, you take the second loop and push it up through the back.
Oh, so
I'll show you a couple more times. You take this next loop, the third one, put it through the third stitch.
So take this one and put it up?
Yes, and pull through.
How many of these do we have to complete?
And then you see you have 4 stitches right now. Then you see you can go faster, and then there you can pull them up, pull your loops up and flatten them out. And then now keep working that knit stitch till you get to the end of your loops. Okay, so you did this one backwards, but you can easily fix that. And then, just like you did earlier, you can pull up all of our loops like this. Try that. Hold it like this in one hand. And then, now work your way down. There. And lay it flat. And that's your first row of the knit stitch at the base for the bunny's tail. And now our next step is to work back across.
Okay.
So I'll show you the first 2 stitches. So you put your working yarn back the other direction. You take the first loop on your working yarn, put it over, pull it back from the front, from the back to the front, and you have another knit stitch too.
Okay.
So you're doing what you did on the other row, except you're going from right to left instead of vice versa.
So like that.
Yep, that's perfect. And you'll just keep going like this to the end of the row, and then you'll have 2 rows complete. You're getting fast at this.
And the last one.
Okay, now pull out all your loops. And there's your second row of the knit stitch. And for the center of your scarf, this is what you have to do. You just have to keep repeating these 2 rows, going back and forth until you've reached 85 inches, and then you can start to construct the bunny's ears and the tail. Okay, so Mercy has done 84 inches, and she's working on her last row of the body of the bunny. And after she's done knitting this row, I will show her how to bind off, because that is the step that finishes all loop yarn pieces. And then after that, we will move into the ear of the bunny. I've made one, and Mercy's gonna make the other, because we all know bunnies have 2 ears. And in this ear, we will be increasing, which is when it's slim down here, and then you add more stitches, and that makes it go out, and then we'll cinch it at the top with the strand of yarn, and then we'll be making this little white part here that uses decreases that make it go in. Okay? Mercy has finished 85 inches of the knit stitch, and now I'm going to show her how to bind off. Okay, so I'll show you the first couple times. So what you'll have to do is take this first stitch and put it over the second. You take this one and go over the next one. How it binds off and creates this arrow, and that's what gets rid of the loops. So that means that there's no more loops that can come out, and it binds it off and finishes it. You can keep going. And as you can see, every stitch you go, you get another arrow added on, and that's locking that loop in place so it doesn't come undone. And this is the vital step to finishing all loop yarn projects, and it's easy. You're in your last stitch. Okay. Our next step is to go to the base of a yarn, snip it, and cut at the end, and then you can put this strand up through the hole, up through that loop, and pull. Yep. And now congratulations. After Mercy caught on to this knit stitch, she was away and she learned it so quickly, and she's been doing a really good job, haven't you, Mercy?
Yes.
And isn't this such a great project for kids to do? And it's so simple, and it's just a fun project that anyone can do.
Yeah, it's really simple and very, very fun.
You know, I bet you have lots of friends that would like this in the color purple, and since you're getting so good at it, you might as well make your friends a couple.
Yeah.
Because who doesn't love a bunny scarf? Okay, ready for the next step?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so you're going to be making an ear for the bunny. And to do that, you will of course need your yarn. You can just put this scarf down. And then right here in the directions, it says that you have to count out 6 loops.
Okay.
Count out 6 loops.
1, 2,
and have them all laying flat like
3,
we've done before.
4, 5, and 6.
Okay? And then take this strand right here and tie it right between the 6th and 7th stitch. The 6th and the 7th.
So right here,
Yes.
pull under, and then I'm gonna tie it to where?
Okay, so I'll show you. So, and then I'll take it out, and then you can do it. So you count out your 6 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you take this strand and go over the top and pull down to that 6th stitch holding your loops, and then come back through the center of this stitch and pull it down.
Okay.
Okay, do you want to give it a go?
Sure.
I'll just undo that. Okay, there you go. Now you can give it a go. Make sure you have all your loops facing upwards.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So then, like you
take
said,
your
we're going to
strand.
take this strand.
Put it down underneath and then pull it through.
Don't want going into the 7th.
And then I'll hold my hand here and you just pull that tight.
Keep pulling.
Yep, keeping that other strand taut.
Now we're going to go under this.
You put it just down the center.
Right.
Down. You put it down the center.
So like this.
Yes.
And then pull it up.
Okay, just gotta fix it a little bit for you. So you almost have the right idea. You have what your first loop here, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. You can see here you have your 6. But when you tie it, what you want to make sure to do is you go over the top.
So
Over the top between the 6th and 7th loop. And once you've done that, you can kind of just easily pull it down the center, and then we can make it more secure later when we sew the ear onto the bunny.
okay. So
the next step is take it. Here you go. Then you can see how we have a ring, and we have
Yes.
1, 2, 3. We have 6 loops here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And our next step is to begin the knitting.
okay.
So I'll show you, because this is different, because we're working in the round, so there's no seam, and you're working continuously. So we're going from right to left. So what you have to do is make sure you have all your loops facing up, and then just make a knit stitch, and make another knit stitch, and another. And I'll do this first row for you since it's really fiddly. And then your last stitch, then you can just keep that down to be secure.
So
And that was your first row of knit stitches. Now, I'm going to have you do the second one. And remember, this strand right here marks where your round ends, okay?
okay.
So you'll have to do 6 stitches to get yourself back around.
So I'm going to take this stitch and I'm going to put it like that.
That's when you bind off. We want to continue working in a round, so we're going to take our working yarn and put it through this loop.
So like,
Yes, that's one. Good job. That's 1. 2. 3. Well, I'm going to fix that for you. You want to make sure that your loop is straight when you pull it up and not twisted.
oh yes, yes.
But that was number 3.
And
4. 5.
and 6. Is that 6? One more.
Okay, so you've done your 6 knit stitches all the way around, and then this next row is the row where we will bring in the increases. So to make an increase in loop yarn, you put 2 loops from the working yarn together,
Okay.
and then you push both of these loops up through this stitch.
Oh.
And you see how you have 1 and now you have 2 loops coming out of that stitch? So when you go back and work it, you have an extra added stitch.
Okay.
And then for the next stitch, you just work 1 knit stitch.
and 1.
And then if it's easier, you can just put 1 stitch in this one and then put in the second.
okay.
And then here you go. In the next stitch, you just do 1. and then go to your next stitch.
And I do 1 again.
Oh, whoops. You gotta go from the working yarn. And this one you're gonna do 2. This one you're gonna do 2 that you just did.
This, and then I'm gonna take 2 of these.
You're gonna take your second loop.
Your second
Just
loop.
your second. Right here. Your second loop. And push it right through that same stitch.
Or over.
So you would push it right through the same stitch that it was worked through. So it's all on the same level. Just like so, you just push it right through that same one. So you have 2 in the same spot to work through later.
Okay. Do I keep doing the 2?
You just do 1 now, because we're alternating between 2 stitches and 1 stitch. So you have 3 increases. And then you can see how you just created a twisted stitch. So I'm just gonna make sure that you pull it up first and then pull through. But we just finished the round.
Okay, so now we have to do the 2.
And since this round is now finished, we've gone from 6 to 9 stitches. And our next step is for rounds 4, 5, and 6, just to knit around, and you'll have 9 stitches each round. I'll just do the first couple for you, okay? So you just keep knitting, and you can see out of this 1 stitch, now it's become 2 because of your increase. And this one is the same.
Keep doing that.
And now there's 2 out of this stitch.
So I'll just this is the working. Oh, whoops.
Yep.
This is the working yarn. Then go over like that.
Yep.
Wow.
Just making sure you didn't miss one. Yes.
Here's one. Here's one loop. Go.
So you go through again, and then you can check. Are you at the end yet from your strand? See, your strand's right here. Remember, this is how you tell. And then since the stitch goes right here, you go all the way up. And yes, you're there. So we'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 9 stitches like you're supposed to have. Just gonna make that one straighter. And now for our 5th row, we're gonna continue knitting around, making sure that you're continuously going in a circle right to left. And do you see how smooth it works? I'm going to work this next row so I can show everyone how you get that increase from adding stitches. Okay, just a moment. We're almost to the rest of the row. Now we can lay it down and see. Based on my strand going up, I have just reached the end of my row. And now you can see how you go from slimmer down here and how it increases out, and then it'll come back in once we've cinched. And to do that, you need to take your scissors and cut out the next 6 loops going from the base of this thread. You can turn it upside down so it's easier. And then just cut that thread at the base, stitching the loops together. 2.
3.
3 right. Oh. 3.
4.
4.
5.
5. And then this will be our last loop. And then you can just snip that. And now to cinch, what you do is you take this strand and push it through the right side of this stitch, and you go through the next loop, going to the front, and the next one, and the next one, and keep going till you've made it through all of them. Just a couple more. There, I've made it through my loops, and this is the fun part, being able to cinch the top and see your ear just without the internal white part. Oh. So what you do, that yarn broke, so you gotta go back through your loops And then as you go along, if you prefer, you can tighten it as you go along. That is not necessary. But here I am just rounding out my last couple stitches. And here we go. You can just cinch it at the top. And now you have the finished part of this ear. Hey Mercy, there is your finished part of the ear. And then this is what it'll be like once we get this internal white part put on, which I will show you how to do. Okay, now it's time to make the inside or the internal part of our bunny's ear. So right now I have this white, and then I just have to count out 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. And go back the other way and knit 4 stitches. And then I'll have to do a decrease so it goes back in. And then I have to make another one, so we have 2 stitches. And then for the last row of the internal part, and so I get this decrease done, is you make another decrease with your last 2 stitches. So when it's done, it kind of forms a pyramid. And then you can pull your last loop up, and you've created the internal part of your ear. And now you have to sew it into your bunny's ear. And I like to use my fingers because it's a lot easier to maneuver. Then I go underneath a loop, put it right up, and then just go through my stitch securing it. And then I go down a couple stitches and off to the side, and then start back out. Then I would go down again and back out. And we already have about a third of this sewed on. And then now I'm going through these posts right here. I'm going through these posts right there, and I'm just continuing to sew this internal part on. And putting this part on is really enjoyable because it really is the part that once it's done, it really brings the bunny's ears to life. It really adds a nice touch. 2/3 of this done. Now we're going to tuck the strand inside and continue going back around the other direction. Pull that tight and go up through your white stitch and start through the loop. Come back down, just keep sewing around, and then go through and come up through these 2 stitches, that last loop that you made, and then you can just go right back down through the center and come out the opposite end, so your yarn end will be secured inside your ear. And then you can just flip it over and snip that, and you've made your other ear. And next I'll be showing you how to make the tail. Okay? For the purpose of time, I already sewed on the nose with just the color A, just wrapped around a couple times, and I already sewed on my buttons for the eyes. But if you need help with that, you can just ask an adult and they can help you and choose whatever buttons you'd like for your bunny and customize it to your own liking. And now to sew on the ear, we're using the whip stitch. We go into the next stitch, just pull that yarn up through, and then match these 2 stitches through the other side, and push it up through, and pull it down tight, and go into the next stitch, and match these 2 stitches, and push them through, and then take the strand and push it back through those stitches, and it creates a secure, unnoticeable knot. Once you're done with that, you can take your strand and then just run it back through your stitches, and then just add that extra security so your ears never come off.
We don't want our ears coming out.
And you can snip that, and if your top is nice and secure, you can just wrap it around one more time, pull it down, and then just take that loop, take that strand, and just pull it through your work at any given point and snip it.
Wow.
And then that is how you create the ears of your bunny and the face. And now I'm going to show you how to make the tail. I'm back with my sister Mercy, and I'm just working on the finishing section, which is the tail. And for the tail, it's 10 loops, and it's still worked in basically in a magic circle in a round using loop yarn. And with that, you just got to make 10 stitches, and then you'll have 4 rows in total of just the knit stitch going back and forth. And you can see how wonderful it looks once you get around to the end and you put your finishing touches on. And it's a great project for beginners, isn't it, Mercy?
Yes,
Don't
it
you
definitely
love it?
is.
Do you have any plans, things you're going to do with this amazing project that all kids love?
Well, I'm pretty sure there's some purple loop yarn, so I've been thinking, since it's so simple, why not make one for my friends?
Well, they'll certainly love that. And there we go. I just finished cinching our tail to our bunny. And you can see as the 85 inches of this long scarf come, it keeps coming. And there at the end, we have our bunny's face. There they are. 4 ears, 4 eyes, 2 noses, and 2 beautiful scarves that are easy to make for kids. Make sure to check out the pattern. It's on yarnspirations.com, and it is the Easy Bunny Scarf.